Welcome, everyone. Hello and welcome to Start on Campus, all about finances. I am Jenny and I am part of the START team who are here to help you folks prepare the summer for starting in fall 2021. I want to thank you all for joining us today. If you have any questions at all this summer and don't know who to ask, you are more than welcome to email us at start@uoguelph.ca. Before we begin today, I'm coming to you folks from Mississauga, Ontario, and Mississauga, Ontario actually shares the same traditional lands as the University of Guelph. So the traditional territories of the Mississauga of the Credit with the Dish with One Spoon Treaty. The Dish with One Spoon Treaty represents the multiple caretakers all living off the same land and agreeing to share the land and recognize that traditional territory altogether. What this means to me is really thinking about when I'm learning about new topics such as finances, learning in the university environment, or learning from the land. It's really important for me to recognize all those who have come before us, all the Indigenous people who've lived on the land since time immemorial, and all of us who now share the land in the world, or what is called Turtle Island. So today we're going to be talking about finances, and this is a really important topic before you begin university in September. Financial skills are really important because it really helps you create independence, allows you to set and reach goals, enjoying living responsibly in your means, and helping you prepare for your future at university, but also helping you build future skills with finances as well. So today we're going to talk about budgeting, we're going to talk about how to pay for university using WebAdvisor, what to expect from your finances in university, and how to work while a student, as well as the resources that you folks have available for you through the University of Guelph. We have Brianna from Student Financial Services joining us, and we also have City joining us from the Experiential Learning Hub. So let's get started with Brianna from Student Financial Services.
Thank you, Jenny. Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna, and I work as a service assistant in Student Financial Services. So if you've ever reached out to our office via phone or email, you may have spoken with me or one of my lovely colleagues. Anyways, let's jump right into today's session about finances. So creating a financial plan is easy if you know the key factors that go into financial planning. If you are not sure where to begin, don't worry. By the end of today's session, you'll have a good footing to navigate financial planning on your own. So how do you get ready for the upcoming fall semester? You can prepare by talking to your supports. So, like for example, that could be your family and working out a plan and budget for the upcoming school year. You can also reach out to the University of Guelph for assistance in preparing for the start of your university career in the fall. So budgeting is very important as it helps you understand how much you will need, like how much money you will need to get you through a semester or through a year. A budget can help you decide on what costs you can cut back on to help you financially be ready. So for example, it can help to understand when to skip the Tim Hortons coffee or ice cap so you can save for something that you really want, or even just so you know what financial resources you have available to you for the second semester. Budgets are super helpful because they minimize or remove your money worries so you can devote your focus to your schoolwork. We will begin by going through an example, like a budget planning example. So if you would like to follow along as we go through how to make a budget plan, you can write this down on like a piece of paper that you have handy, or you can use an Excel document. You can write as we go because we're going to go through an example, and you can always rewatch the recording afterwards if you miss anything we talk about in the budget planning along the way. So there's no concerns if you miss a small step. The first step in creating a budget is listing the money or financial resources that you will have available to you. So a resource can be savings or government loans and grants. So, programs like OSAP or US loans, support for your family or from your family, scholarships and bursaries, and so on.
If someone is supporting you or will be supporting you financially, It's really important to use today's Start on Campus as a reason to have a conversation with them this week. So what does exactly supporting you mean? Talking about what does that mean in terms of finances? Does that mean that they're covering a part of your tuition for your first semester? Or will that person be supporting you along the way with a $2 coffee that you have? Who is paying for what and how long? And what are the expectations around this or because of this financial support? For example, perhaps it's an expectation around grades that hasn't been communicated, or a curfew, or an expectation to pay someone some of the money back at a point in the future. It's really important to have an open conversation about what that looks like for all 4 years of university. It's normal to not have somebody supporting you financially during university, but perhaps you have someone who would be open to sharing information or discussing finances with you. Have a chat or a conversation with that person. And start looking at resources that you have, such as Student Financial Services at the U of G, who can talk to you about more information for planning your finances or being supported through tight spots with money. We are really here to help you.
Okay, so by now you've had the opportunity to apply for entrance scholarships and bursaries, but their scholarship and bursary opportunities don't stop there, and we'll discuss them a little bit on the next slide. So the University of Guelph has several in-course awards, such as the Financial Need Assessment Form, the First Generation Bursary, and the Indigenous Student Bursary. The applications for these bursaries can be found on the Student Financial Services website under the heading Forms. And the forms for the fall are typically made available around mid-August, and some of them do have a deadline of October 7th. So it's important to keep those deadlines in mind. Work study is also included on the Financial Need Assessment Form. This is an on-campus part-time job program that assists students with demonstrated financial need. So if you're eligible for work study during your 4 years here, whether you're thinking about it for fall 2021 or not, maybe for somewhere down the road, I would still encourage you to apply. I'm not going to go super in depth with this right now, but if you stay tuned, we will be coming back to this later in the session to talk about applying for work study jobs in general and jobs in general on campus. So during the summer semester, the undergraduate research assistantships, or URAs, is a program that provides full-time employment opportunities for students to participate in research by pairing undergraduate students like yourself with demonstrated financial need with a member of the University of Guelph faculty. This application process usually starts in December, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that posting and updates on our website for that resource that you might be interested in. Finally, there is a full list of scholarships and bursaries available on the Student Financial Services website using the award search feature, where you can filter by your program and your preferences. While most scholarships do not require students to apply, there are some that require additional documents like letters or references. So if you're interested in any award that requires additional information, make sure you note their deadlines and requirements so that you can get the appropriate docs in. For international students, you can apply for awards using the Financial Need Assessment Form after you've completed your first year of studies. There's also the Enhanced International Undergraduate Entrance Scholarship for new first-year international students who have been awarded a University of Guelph entrance scholarship, whereby you can receive a renewal amount in your second, third, and fourth years if you meet the eligibility criteria for that scholarship. And then just to continue on to the next slide here, other resources to consider or include would be student loans, be they government loans or bank loans. Loans can be tricky. However, in most provinces, there is a provincial financial assistance program that can assist you when it comes to paying for school. In Ontario, we do have the Ontario Student Assistance Program, more commonly known as OSAP, which offers funding through grants, which is money you keep, and loans, which is money that you would need to pay back after you complete your schooling. Now, it is important to keep in mind that OSAP is not designed to cover 100% of your costs, but it is an additional resource available to students who wish to apply for it. When you apply for OSAP, you are automatically considered for both grants and loans. But if you don't want to take the loan, you can simply decline it on your OSAP account after you receive your assessment. If you decide to take the loans, they will remain interest-free while you are in school full-time. So it's important that you keep that in mind, that you do have to be full-time to maintain that interest-free status. There are also programs to help you repay government student loans once you're done school. If you think you might be interested in OSAP and you've not already done so, I would recommend checking them out at STARTonCampus.ca as soon as possible and applying online if you're looking for funding for the fall. If you don't qualify for government funding, you can reach out to banks, as they do provide private loans or lines of credits that you might be eligible to apply for. And if you need more resources to look into, we do have a couple links on the screen to some external funding resources that students can check out for, external scholarships and bursaries and such like that as well. So we're going to run through an example of calculating your resources. So let's say I'm going to be a first-year student. I just received my funding assessment from OSAP, and they're going to provide me with X dollars for the fall and X dollars for the winter. I also have a $2,000 scholarship that I know is going to be split over my fall and winter semesters. I know that I'm going to be getting an in-course bursary, which gets applied to my winter semester for $500. And I'm going to be working a minimum wage job, 10 hours a week, which roughly works out to be $2,000 every semester. And I also had a chat with my parents about, my education and any funding. And they said that they would contribute $1,500 each semester for my tuition in my first year. So I'm going to include that as well. So that comes to a total of about $9,500 plus whatever government loans and grants I'm getting from OSAP. So those are the resources that I know I'm going to be working with for my entire first year at school. So now I need to work out my expenses and what I will be spending my money on this year. This is where you will start to, review your expenses, compile a list of your anticipated expenses, both for school and in your personal life. You'll want to leave room for unexpected expenses that might arise so that you are not caught off guard by should something unexpected happen during this semester. In our experience, your most expensive months will likely be September and January because of tuition, textbooks, and supplies that you'll have to get for the new semester. And it's always better to overplan than it is to underplan. So if you spend $2 on coffee a couple times a week, that's something that you'll need to budget for as well. Just keep that in the back of your mind. So tuition is paid by semester to help soften the blow on your bank account. Tuition does vary by program as well, so make sure that you look at how much your specific program's tuition is and ensure that you budget for the proper amount. You can find this information on the Student Financial Services website under tuition and fees, or you can also find it on your WebAdvisor account view under your financial profile once you've registered in courses for a semester. Compulsory fees are fees that are for essential services which ensure the health and safety of the campus and the campus community, and they provide academic support to students as well. All students are required to pay compulsory fees every academic semester. These fees support programs and services that benefit students and enhance the University of Guelph's unique campus culture. We highly recommend reading about the programs and services that exist because of students, for students. A full list of fees is available on our website under the tuition and fees tab. It's called compulsory fees. And moving to textbooks, textbooks can vary widely in their price depending on a variety of factors, but mostly, where you're buying the textbook from and what shape it's in. So whether you buy it brand new or used, they can vary in the amount that they will cost. We encourage students to expect an expense of a few $100s per semester for textbooks and supplies, though it'll really depend on your program and what the supply and textbook requirements are. So after you've considered all of your school-related costs, your next step will be to think about your living costs. So where are you going to live? What is the cost of your rent going to be? If you're living on campus, meal plans have a range of costs depending on how much you eat. If you'll be buying groceries because you're living off campus or at home, we encourage you to take a look at the cost of your grocery bill over the past few months, or have a conversation with a parent or guardian about the cost if you'll be living at home and assisting with the grocery bill. And just don't think about this semester. It's important to think about, the next semester in the winter as well as all 4 years. If you'll be living off campus in future years, proactively looking at the costs of transportation can help you make decisions. For example, the cost of having a car and a parking pass on campus is likely to be much higher than taking public transit. So it's important to kind of, weigh your options when it comes to those sorts of things. So getting back to our example on the next slide, I'm going to be a first-year Canadian student living on campus. I do know my tuition is going to be around $3,600 from my program per semester. I'm also going to budget around $400 from my books. And because I know I will be living on campus, I will be paying around $3,500 per semester for my room. And here, if you were living off campus, you would take your monthly rent and multiply it by 4 to get the fall rent, and then do the same for the winter, and that would give you an idea of your total rent for the year. And finally, since I am going to be in residence, I will have a meal plan. So I know that my meal plan is going to be around $2,500 per semester in my first year. And then same thing here, if you're living off campus, you'll need to budget for your groceries. So if you know how much you typically spend on groceries per month, you can multiply that by 4 to get the cost of your groceries for one semester. So once you've gone through all your anticipated expenses, it will provide you with a total of your expenses for your first year. And once you kind of have, your resources and your expenses, we can look at, if there's anything further we need to do. So once you've gone over your expenses for the year, we know that university does cost a lot of money. We also know that not everyone can afford to pay that cost. The University of Guelph believes that post-secondary education should be attainable, like an attainable goal for all qualified students. If you are feeling concerned about your budget, we would like to remind and encourage you to apply for scholarships and bursaries that our office does offer, as well as government loan programs, including the Canadian or US loans programs to help you with these costs. Now that we have gone over the budget, we will go over how you can pay your bill each semester. So your student bill is posted on WebAdvisor under your financial profile in a link called Account View. Fall bills were posted in late July. Students, and the first upcoming deadline to be aware of here is the $200 registration deposit that is due on August 13th. And all remaining fees will be due on September 17th. Now, I know it's kind of hard to keep track of a bunch of dates that get thrown at you, so I would recommend putting them in your GriffMail calendar so you can keep on track. We also do post the dates and deadlines well in advance of each semester, and we do email you a reminder as deadlines approach. Accepted methods of payment can be found under the Payments and Settlement section of the Payments and Accounts drop down on our Student Financial Services website. The most common and most efficient method of paying is via online banking. So just, logging into your online bank account and starting up a new payee. We do honor the date that your bank shows that you made the payment, because we know that the bank will take 2 to 3 business days to process and get the funding out and for us to get it received onto your account. If your payment is not received within that 3 business day window, we do recommend that you send us a screenshot showing your proof of payment to avoid any penalties such as late fees. For international students, we recommend that you use Pay My Tuition for your payments. Pay My Tuition is a simple and efficient way for you to pay your account by an international bank transfer. It's also important to note that Student Financial Services does not accept e-transfers. E-transfers and online banking are different, so just keep that in mind. We don't accept e-transfers. We also don't accept personal checks or any other form of in-person payment, such as credit cards, debit cards, or cash. So that being said, in the next few slides, I will show you exactly how you can see your account balance on WebAdvisor and how to understand it. If you would like, you can log into WebAdvisor and follow along with me, but that's up to you. So once you get logged into WebAdvisor, you'll navigate to the student menu, and then you'll be able to see on the right-hand side a title called Financial Profile. Under there, you'll click on Account View. This is the student portal. You're going to see the menu on the right-hand side. Again, under Financial Profile, you'll click on Account View, and you'll be brought to the Account Overview page, where you will see a summary of all the bills for each semester you've attended. So if we click on Fall 2021, you will see your account activity for the Fall 2021 semester only. This is where you can find a breakdown of your charges, financial aid, and payments, sort of similar to our budget. So when we click on charges, you will be able to see an item-by-item list of all the charges on your account. So they could be for tuition and compulsory fees. You'll see residence charges if you're living on campus, as well as meal plan charges if you're living on campus. And then further down the page, if we click on financial aid, you'll see any scholarships or bursaries that you've been awarded, and you'll see that they'll get allocated to your bill there and reduce the overall cost of your balance owing. And lastly, if we navigate back to the financial profile menu and click on residence deposit, you will be able to see any pending deposits that are available to your account. So this page is where you would find information about any external scholarships you would receive, as well as your residence deposit will be listed here, and you'll be able to see that your residence deposit will be applied to the winter 2022 term. Need help? Student Financial Services is the START team are here for you. So please do reach out, whether it's proactively or if you find yourself stuck in a situation where finances are tough or they've changed, please do reach out. Please note that the University of Guelph, the staff and faculty at the University of Guelph are bound by provincial legislation that prevents us from discussing students' confidential information with anyone besides the student. This includes, scheduling, finances, academic achievement. If the student would like you to have permission to discuss any of this information, specifically from a financial perspective, there's a release of financial information form on WebAdvisor under financial profile again. No matter the relationship to the student, no one can have access to a student's account unless the student has filled out this release form. So it's important to keep that in mind. You can always add someone by completing the form. However, if you do need to remove someone, you will need to email accquest@uoguelph.ca and ask that we remove that person for you. It's also very important that you monitor your University of Guelph email account regularly, as it's our primary method of communication with you. And some of the emails that we will send you might require your action really soon. So please make sure that you read them thoroughly and take action where needed. If you have any questions for Student Financial Services, I believe we're going to post our contact information in an announcement for you folks, so you can jot it down and reach out to us whenever you've got a question.
So as you folks will see as students, you'll be the person with access to all the accounts, and that it's not going to be your families or supporters. The same will go if your family or supporters contact the university asking for information about you. There are university laws, or there are privacy laws that the university abides to. We will always do our best to help you, but I wanted to share with you and your families and supporters that an employee may default giving you an overview that would theoretically happen in a situation and not be able to speak directly about your student because of privacy. And that there's also really an opportunity for independent learning at university. And one of those opportunities is to support your student in how to learn to navigate more independently, such as booking as appointments for themselves or seeking info on courses with your support, but not doing the work necessarily for them. You'll find that seeking support from financial services holds to that, meaning that the financial services will only speak directly with the student and provide information about their accounts directly to them. Now I would like to welcome City up on camera to talk to us about working while a student.
Hi everyone, as Jenny mentioned, my name is City and I work in the Experiential Learning Hub. I'm also a peer helper there in the Career Services Department. So I'm going to be speaking a little bit about just how to find work experiences if you are looking to work while you're studying. And just before I get into how you can find these experiences, I just wanted to mention a couple things that you should consider if you are looking to work while in university. So many students have to work to make ends meet, and at the Experiential Learning Hub, we know that working is a valid way of gaining experiences for further education and other goals in the same way as volunteering and EL coursework are. So if you're looking to gain specific types of experiences, we can also help you align your work opportunities with any personal, academic, and career goals. And you can also book one-on-one meetings with the peer helpers or with a career advisor. If you are an international student, you'll want to check the rules about working in Canada under your study permit. And you can also consult with an international student experience if you are wondering about what that would look like or if you have any questions related to that. Students are often concerned about being able to balance work and studying. And speaking from my experiences and also some of the common things that students have said is that it's very common for students to engage in about 5 to 10 hours per week. And that's, whether that's working or volunteering, that encompasses kind of any extracurricular things that you are involved in outside of just your classes. In addition, a lot of the campus employers are very accommodating to student schedules and are often flexible in terms of what your work hours might look like, or if you have to work fewer hours for certain weeks or whatever. So getting into how you can find job postings, a very good resource for you to start kind of looking for work opportunities is through experienceguelph.ca. So you log in under the student section using your central student ID, and new students should have access to Experience Guelph after they have completed course selection, which hopefully most of you have by this point. And once you are logged in, there's 2 job boards that you can access. One of them is the On-Campus Jobs and Opportunities Board, and this board is for jobs that are based at U of G. So this includes any general work positions, any work studies, and also undergraduate research positions that were briefly mentioned at the start of the session. And then the other board is the career board, and this is for off-campus options. And they include both part-time and full-time summer jobs, and also jobs for recent graduates. So this might not be something you're considering, but just so that you guys are aware, a year after you graduate, you will still have access to Experience Guelph. So if you're looking for any work opportunities after you're done your degree, you will have a year to take a look at these positions. It's also very important to read the postings very carefully before you start applying, because this is where most students often make mistakes. So maybe applying to a job that they aren't fully qualified for, or they're not addressing the job requirements in their resume, or they're not including all the requested application materials. You can apply to most postings directly through Experience Guelph. You would just have to upload the requested documents and then hit submit. Programs like work studies will only let you apply if you qualify. So if you see a warning message, look in the additional application information section of that job posting to find more details. If you're looking for any help in terms of anything that I've mentioned, the EL Hub can offer advice on also your resume and cover letter, and also even help you prepare for an interview. Hopefully this helps you feel a little more confident while you are looking for work. Yeah, Jenny, I'll hand it back to you.
Perfect. City, before you go, what are some examples of campus jobs that are available?
Yeah. So some example jobs include program delivery positions in the student experience. I actually worked in student experience for just over a year during my second and third year as a outreach facilitator. And there's also other positions as lab assistants in the science department, or customer service positions in hospitality or athletics. There's also marketing and social media roles in many academic and support departments across campus. And there's so many more that you can definitely check out on Experience Guelph.
Awesome. Thank you so much, City, for sharing that really great information with us. So now we're actually going to move on to some frequently asked questions. But I encourage you folks to continue posting your questions in the live question and answer chat, and someone will get back to you with that information. But the first question is, when and how can I apply for bursaries? So you can apply for bursaries by submitting the applicable financial need assessment form. These forms are available the week of August 15th, and the deadline to apply is October 7th. Some bursaries also require an application in addition to the needs assessment form, so you'll have to keep this in mind if there's a specific scholarship or bursary you would like to apply for. And then to find these bursaries and determine if you're eligible to apply, you can always use the awards search tool, which we will make an announcement about in the chat. Another frequently asked question we commonly get is, what is the registration deposit? So the registration deposit is a minimum non-refundable deposit payment of $200. It must be submitted by the close of the business day on August 13th, 2021 to keep your spot in your selected courses and to select new courses. It is a payment that will be applied to your bill. Please keep in mind that the $200 payment you make will not show up on your account with the label registration deposit. However, as long as you have received a $200 payment from you in your fall 2021 account view, you will be set. It's important to note that all students may pay the $200 deposit by the registration deadline, regardless of funding sources. This means the deposit cannot be paid using OSAP bursaries or scholarships. The next question we frequently get is, can I pay my bill with the awards that I received from the University of Guelph? Yes. Awards that you receive from the university are automatically applied to your bill on WebAdvisor. If you will be receiving enough awards to cover your entire account balance, you will need to make sure you complete the Confirm Intent to Register form on WebAdvisor by the payment deadline to avoid late fees. How and when do I pay? So students at the University of Guelph are billed per semester, so you are paying for the fall semester in September and the winter semester in January. If you take courses in the summer semester, you will pay for that semester in May. Student Financial Services has listed all the ways that you can pay, and we have a link to it at STARTonline.ca/finances. If you need a confirmation of enrollment, how do I get one? If you need a confirmation of enrollment, for example, for a scholarship or to withdraw funds from your registered education savings plan, a link to that is on